Okay, everybody, welcome back. I've got Simon here with me today, and we are going to take you through some lower body mobility, so for hammy, groin, and it's going to be a nice, easy session today. So what we're going to need is a towel, a strap, whatever you got, yoga strap, bathroom towel, something like that. Cool. So we're going to lie down on our back, make yourself nice and comfy. We're going to take strap, and it's going to go underneath the ball of our right foot. Beautiful. We're going to let the legs come down to flat. We're going to bring right leg up in front of us. We're going to keep our right knee nice and straight, and we're just going to hang out there. So while we're here, we're going to think about our breathing. We want our in-breath to take 4 seconds. We want to hold for 2, and then we want to breathe out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to repeat that. So in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 1, 2, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, what we're going to do while we're in that position, keeping that leg there and the tension on that leg, we're going to point our right toe, or point our right foot. Beautiful. And then slowly come back the other way. Toes come down towards our face. We're going to go through 5 of those. It's a nice little nerve floss for our sciatic nerve, which runs down the back of our leg. We're just gently pulling on one end and then easing off the tension on the other. So while you're doing this, you're probably going to feel the area that feels tight, or where you're feeling the stretch or strain move around a little bit. As you point your toe, you're more likely to get some in your calf, and then as your foot comes back towards your face, you're probably a bit more likely to be behind the back of your knee. All right, from there, we're going to let our toes come back to sort of flat or neutral. We're going to soften our right knee, and then we're going to bring our leg a little bit further up towards our head. Once you've done this, you're probably going to feel a bit more sort of muscle belly, so in underneath your thigh more than behind your knee. While we're here, we're going to check our breathing. So we're making sure we're in for 4, holding for 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Now, if you're having trouble maintaining your breathing, you've probably pulled too far into the stretch, and what our body does is it'll lock down or lock right up and squeeze and grab and grip. So we want to make sure we're not doing that. We want to make sure we're nice and soft, and as we breathe out, we let our legs sag further into each of these stretches. Okay, from there, Simon's going to take his right hand out to the right side. He's with the strap in his hand, his elbow to the floor, and his right foot can come out towards the floor. So right leg can come all the way out to the right. Things we want to think about while we're here, we're going to get a big stretch through our groin, so through the inside of our right thigh. And you'll see Simon's got his hand on his left hip. That's what we want you to be doing. We want to make sure that your left hip or your left glute stays on the floor here. If you start to roll and that hip starts to peel up and off the floor, pick up a little bit more of that tension with the band and work a little bit harder. Good. What you can do while you're here is you can soften your right knee just a little bit. That'll change where you feel the stretch. Don't be afraid to fiddle with how much tension is on the strap too. If you need to bend that elbow more, or move your hands on the towel, or whatever you've got to hold your leg, you can do that as well. And then we're going to add in a little bit of an active component here. So Simon's going to use his groin to pull his leg back up to straight. So he's going to squeeze and pull his beautiful leg right back up nice and hard, and then he's going to gently lower on his out breath. So breathing in. Okay, good. Now he's going to breathe in on the way back up. He's going to hold for 1, 2 at the top, and then lower for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. He's going to do 2 more of those. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, and lower for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, Simon's going to bring his leg straight back up in front of him. He's going to bend his right knee. He's going to take his hands and take a hold of his right knee, not the strap. And he's going to gently pull that knee across his body towards his left shoulder. So target areas for this, we're thinking the back of our right glute or the back of our right hip. We're going to spend a few breaths in this position, and then we're going to add in an active or a slightly more active component to this stretch. Okay, so how are we going to make this harder? Sai's going to take his hand down to his foot. He's going to pull that foot up towards his face a little, both hands on his foot. And then he's just going to gently straighten that leg, or start to straighten that leg as much as he can, and then he's going to come back down the other way. What you should feel when you do that is that the fibers, or the areas of your glute that you're going to feel that in, will be just a little different to when you're pulling your knee to your shoulder. Okay, so we'll do 2 more of those. Beautiful, and then we're going to take our hands back to the strap. We're going to pop our left leg, the ball of our left foot on the strap. Straighten that leg and find a hamstring stretch on the left hand side. So the first thing we do after changing position is going back to our breath and thinking about, are we in control? Are we calm, collected? Is my breathing happening well? Good. We want to think about, with every out breath, sagging or putting a little bit more tension onto that band. I really don't want you to be ripping or yanking or pulling too hard and forcing that knee or that leg up into more sort of hip flexion, or forcing that foot higher up. We just want to be easing and softening into these positions. From here, we can start to point the left toe. You'll feel where you're feeling that pressure change and move around, and then gently let it sag off and let toes come back towards your face. We're going to move through that movement 4 or 5 times. Okay, from there we can gently soften our left leg. We can pull a little bit more with our hands in towards our chest and put some more tension on the band, get a big hamstring stretch there. And again, a little bit more muscle belly here. Now, if your levers aren't quite as long as Simon's, he's got very long legs, you'll notice that it looks like he has quite a large bend in his leg. That's okay. He's got, as I said, long legs. If your legs are a little bit shorter, you may not need to bend as much, okay? And if you're more flexible, you may also not need to bend as much. So whatever feels right for you is fine in this situation. Okay, Sai's close to the wall, so from there he's going to have to sit up and spin around so he can let that left leg drop out to the side. But we're going to let our left hand come out to the side, elbow comes to floor, left foot falls all the way out, and we'll find that groin stretch there. Good, we're keeping right hand on the front of our right hip to make sure that our glute stays down. And we're checking in, is our breathing under control? Am I maintaining 4 in, hold for 2, and 6 out, nice and slow? Okay, from there we're going to use our groin. We're going to pull that leg back in up towards that central position. We're going to breathe in, and then as we breathe out or exhale, we soften and we let that leg fall out to the side, and then we make our way back up with our in-breath. Hold for 1, 2, and soften. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back out to the side. A few more of those. Really trying to get our movement in time with our breath. Okay, from there Simon's going to bend his left leg. He's going to take his hands around his knee and leave the strap for the minute and pull his left knee towards his right shoulder. So again, target here is our left glute group. If your knee hurts in this position or it doesn't like being compressed, you can lace your hands behind your thigh so that you're not pushing your knee into knee flexion. That's fine. We'll spend 2 more breaths here, and then we're going to transition to having our feet around our foot and working through that knee flexion and extension, or straightening and bending our knee, and really trying to find a few different areas where our glute, will start to feel the stretch in a different way. So our hands come to feet, they're going to lace around the outside of our foot, fingers, and then we can start to gently straighten that leg out. Good. Thinking about breathing, thinking about trying to relax or lean in, I suppose, to the stretch. We're going to work through 3 more of those, and this is going to be our last pose. So we'll take a little minute to work through this last little bit of glute and sort of kick back and relax. Okay, we're going to add in one more thing. As Simon breathes out, he's going to let his foot come all the way down to flat. He can ditch the strap. And he's just going to let his hands fall out to the sides. He's going to get nice and comfy. He can shut his eyes. Palms are going to be up. And he's just going to deeply breathe for 4 or 5 breaths, 30 seconds. He's going to kick back and relax. And we're just going to unwind and enjoy how our body feels after doing a little bit of stretch, a little bit of mobility-based work. While we're lying here, we want to think about slowing our breathing down and having our stomach rise and fall, because our diaphragm's doing the work of breathing rather than our chest. So tummy will rise and fall the slower we breathe in, the longer we make that breath take. And the same thing as we start to breathe out, our stomach will slowly fall Really trying to slow down how hard we're working with our breath there. Gonna spend one more breath here. All right, beautiful. Thanks for coming along today for some mobility and a stretch. Thanks for Simon for being my model for the day. If you've enjoyed it, please follow, please like, please subscribe. That's really helpful for me. And let me know what you'd like to see moving forward in the way of mobility. Thanks.